What's going on, Yugi Bros Nation? Today I'm bringing you another top 10 cards I would love to see in the Speed Duel Battle City box, this time revolving around Red Eye's Black Dragon. Without further ado, let's kick on to the beginning of this list, kicking it off with a card that Blue Eyes got, but Red Eyes hasn't got yet, and that is Black Dragon's Chick. Black Dragon's Chick, also known as Red Eye's B-Chick for all you old school fans. The card's name got errataed, actually because in Japan it was never a Red Eyes card, but over here they turned it into a Red Eyes card, but eventually they changed it back to match up with Japan. But either way, Blue Eyes got this in the form of Kaiba Man, but Red Eyes has yet to see his version where if you send this thing that you control to the graveyard, you can special summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon from your hand, as opposed to Kaiba Man that lets you summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. So I would just like to see this. It's just kind of like a nod to the fact that Blue Eyes has its one card tribute, whereas Red Eyes is one card tribute, and that is Black Dragon's Chick. Second on this list is more nostalgia than anything else, and that is Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon. We have Metalmorph in this game, and we have Red Eye's Black Dragon in this game. How come we don't have Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon? I'll take either artwork. I do prefer the one on the right, but that is just my opinion. This card doesn't do anything special. It's just a machine, level 8, 28-24, that says it can only be special summoned from the deck by tributing a Red Eyes B-Dragon equipped with Metalmorph. It is interesting that it does summon itself from the deck. Do I think that's really good? Not really. It's 2800. It's nothing special, but gives you a little extra boost. However, I feel like Red Eyes with Metalmorph by itself is just better, unless you're being attacked, I guess? I don't know. Either way, nostalgia purposes. And then to round out the nostalgia, I would like to bring Black Skull Dragon into the game. I know we don't have a Summon Skull yet, but I did bring up in my top 10 for Yugi that I would love to see a Summon Skull, and I don't see how we won't get Summon Skull, especially because this is the Battle City box. And what is a Battle City box without the fusion of both Summon Skull and Red Eye's Black Dragon in the form of Black Skull Dragon? Konami's always loved reprinting cards that have either needed problem-solving card text or some type of errata, and this only has one printing currently that has black written out instead of the B period for Black Skull Dragon in its name, and Red Eye's Black Dragon in the material versus Red Eye's B Dragon. I'm sure they would love to make another one. Speed Duels is the perfect spot. Let's get this fusion in the game just so we can play it. Alright, now with that stuff out of the way, let's go into some actual Red Eyes cards that I think would boost up the deck a little bit, kicking it off with Red Eyes Wyvern. This is a level 4 Wind Dragon effect, 1800 attack, 1600 defense. That says once per turn during your end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. You cannot normal summon or set during the turn you activate this effect. So, bit of a downside there is that you can't normal summon or set anything else. However, you can bring back a Red Eyes during a turn that you wouldn't normal summon or set. Also, you can special summon in that same turn, so if you do more special summoning, this card is still live and ready to go in the graveyard. But it gives Red Eyes a little bit of a recovery. As we've seen so far, Red Eyes doesn't have too much recovery, but with this card, you're allowed to bring back a Red Eyes Black Dragon. It's not overly powerful, and honestly, I think this is kind of a little slow, so no reason not to bring it into Speed Duels, but I would love to see some combos with this card. I also don't know why this is the only Red Eyes card that is not a dark, it is a wind attribute, and I'm not really sure on that as to why that is, but either way, I'd love to see this come over just to give the deck a little bit more recovery during the end phase of a turn you didn't normal summon or set. Moving on to the number 5 option, it is Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. It's a bit of a generic option. This could also be used in something like a Dark Magician deck, for example, in Speed Duels. This normal spell card says banish one level 7 monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field, draw 2 cards. You can only activate one Sacred Sword of 7 Stars per turn. So its downside is that it banishes the monster that you're sending, but the upside is that it can be from the hand or face up from the field to draw 2 cards. It's a little slow. I understand we already have Allure of Darkness, but why not give us this generic option, at least making some other decks decent. It's convenient that both Dark Magician and Red Eyes are dark monsters, so you can play Allure in that, and Sacred Sword is a bit of a worse option in that sense. However, the upside to Sacred Sword is that you can banish it from the field as well, and it can be any level 7 monster, so if you are able to put an extra Red Eyes on the field and you want to draw some cards, Sacred Sword is the way to do that. The next card I have on my list is a more generic option for Red Eyes cards, and that is Black Metal Dragon. This is a 1-star dark Dragon effect 600 attack, 600 defense effect monster that says you can target one Red Eyes monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. It gains 600 attack. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand. This is the generic Stratos for Red Eyes, and it's a little slow, but if it's sent from the field to the grave, doesn't matter how it's sent, as long as it was from the field to the graveyard, you get to add any Red Eyes card for free. I was going to add Red Eyes Insight to this list, however I feel Insight's a little bit slower in the simple fact that it just doesn't add enough. The only thing it would add right now for the options that we currently have is Red Eyes Spirit, and that is definitely not enough. And the reason I don't want to add any other Red Eyes specific spell and traps is because everything else that exists I feel is just a little too strong for speed duels, except for maybe a Red Eyes Transmigration, the ritual spell, but like, I don't think we need to throw in the ritual spells just yet, or the ritual monsters. We're trying to play more like generic stuff here, so I just feel like, you know, Insight doesn't have enough targets. Also, Inferno Fire Blast isn't a Red Eyes spell, so go figure. We just can't search it with that. Therefore, something like this, giving Red Eyes a little extra buff, plus the fact that you can equip it to something, give it 600 attack, putting it up to 3000 so it can rival other monsters as well, seems a little bit better to me. Also, this is reusable through other means. There's a lot of things that could reuse this. You could reborn this. You could somehow, if you bring it back, every time it's sent, you get an add one. It's not once per turn, which is really nice. So it's a generic option for Red Eyes cards specifically, but I would love for this to come over, because once you have this in the game, you can do a lot of things. You can add whatever Red Eyes card you need, and I would just love to see this come over to Speed Duels. Alright, now let's give Red Eyes some spell and trap hate, alright? Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight, level 4 Dark Warrior, effect 18 attack, 16 defense. It's an upgraded version of good old Gearfried the Iron Knight. Once per turn, if either player equips an equipped card or cards to this card, you can destroy those equipped cards. Then you can destroy one spell or trap your opponent controls. So it's interesting, you don't have to destroy the equipped things, unlike the other Gearfried where it just sends them off, but this one gives you the extra effect of you can destroy the equipped cards and then destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. So it gives you a little extra spell and trap hate, which the deck desperately needs. And then once per turn, you can send one equipped card you control that is equipped to this card to the graveyard, then target one level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So we have ways to bring back good old Red Eyes Black Dragon, or other Red Eyes monsters for that matter, as long as it's a level 7 or lower, in the form of this card. And I think this is pretty solid. It's an 1800 beat stick first off, so that's really good for the deck, not to mention that Wyvern wasn't an 18 beat stick, but you know. Then this one has the extra ability to blow up your opponent's spell or trap cards, and then even more than that, you can send an equipped card you control to the grave to target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes in your grave and special summon it. That's just so good. I would love this to be in the game. I would like to pair it, obviously, with regular Red Eyes Black Dragon to bring that back, but you can bring back Wyvern, and you can bring back a card that I'm going to bring up next, which is Red Eyes Retro Dragon. Level 4 Dark Dragon effect, 17 attack, 16 defense. This card says, if a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster or monsters you control is destroyed by an opponent's attack or card effect and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, special summon as many of those destroyed monsters as possible in the same position they were in when they were destroyed. So this, as a hand trap, if your Red Eyes monsters get destroyed, you can then summon this and then bring back as many of those. I have to make sure as many of those means as many as you can fit on the field, because if that's the case with the 3 zones, then you're fine, you just bring back whatever ones you want. But if it has to be all of them, it doesn't say exactly, so I don't see why it would be. But if it did have to be all of them, then you'd actually have to play this a little bit safer, because he does hit the board and then you only have 2 zones open, assuming you had nothing left on your board to begin with. This thing, however, does have another effect, and it's a big reason I want this in Speed Duels, and it is you contribute this card for cost, and then you get this extra effect where you can normal summon one Red Eyes monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal summoner set. You only gain that effect once per turn, but gives the deck more ways to bring out the Red Eyes faster, especially if you didn't have like the Black Dragon's Chick or something. But we do have cards like Double Costin, where like you could normal summon Costin if you already had Retro on the field, and then use Retro's effect, tribute the Costin, and summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon. I don't know, it's faster ways to get the Red Eyes out. It's kind of like Legion the Fiend Jester for spellcasters, but in this case it's for Red Eyes Next on the list, another spell card that I wish had the name Red Eyes in it, but it doesn't, so we can't insight it, so that's why insight's not on the list. And that is Cards of the Red Stone. This is a normal spell card that says send one level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, then you can send one level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Cards of the Red Stone per turn. Now, before we go into any further, I just want to make this clear. I don't want Cards of the Red Stone, Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, and Allure of Darkness all in this deck. So if Sacred Sword doesn't get put in, then I would prefer Cards of the Red Stone, so at least it gives Red Eyes its generic draw spell. But if you had all 3 of those and you ran 3 copies of every single one, this deck would be turboing itself in 1 turn, and I don't think that's really good for the game. But this card gives you a little bit more flexibility with the Red Eyes card specifically, in the sense of you're going to send a level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the grave, most likely regular Red Eyes Black Dragon. Actually, in this case, currently in Speed Duels, it's only going to be Red Eyes Black Dragon. And then you'll draw 2 cards, and then you can send another Red Eyes Black Dragon from your deck to the graveyard, allowing you to then have ways to bring it back, like we've already talked about, through like Gear Free the Red Eyes Iron Knight, or just some generic way, or Red Eyes Wyvern. It gives you a lot of options to summon a Red Eyes. But also, it's just a generic draw spell for the deck, which is very nice. But I just like it better. I'd prefer this over Sacred Sword, but I put Sacred Sword in first just because Sacred Sword is more generic, and it gives a lot of things support, but also can send from the field. But Cards of the Red Stone in this situation supports the Red Eyes deck obviously more efficiently, and lets you set up for graveyard plays with your Red Eyes monsters as well. The last card on the list before we get to the honorables is Keeper of the Shrine. This is a level 4 Dark Dragon effect monster with 0 attack and 2100 defense. Its effect says, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon monster. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, if a face-up dragon monster on the field except Keeper of the Shrine is sent to the graveyard by a card effect or because it was destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card. Then, if that monster sent to the grave is a normal monster, you can add 1 dragon normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Keeper of the Shrine once per turn. This card does a lot. First off, it's 2 tributes for a tribute summon of a dragon monster, so again, if you have Retro up and you have this, you can tribute this, use Retro's other effect to extra tribute summon, and then drop the Red Eyes monster to the field. Second of all, if your dragon monster is destroyed, any dragon monster, mind you, any dragon is destroyed by battle or card effect and is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. So, Illusionist, Faceless Magician, anyone? And also, then, if the monster was a normal monster, you can add a dragon normal monster from your grave to your hand. It doesn't even have to be the same normal dragon, but let's be fair, in this deck it's most likely going to be Red Eyes. This is both Red Eyes and Blue Eyes support, but because I already did a Kaiba video and I don't have too many Blue Eyes cards off the top, this card is so good for both Red Eyes and Blue Eyes that I felt like I had to contribute it to the list here. I don't think it's OP. Originally I had it as an honorable mention. I think it's okay since the second effect is only once per turn, but it reminds me of Illusionist, Faceless Magician. Let's give Red Eyes a bit of a loop here, or Blue Eyes if you want to look at it that way. But this card is also dark, so it could be played in Red Eyes a little bit more efficiently with like a lure. But it's 2100 defense as well, so this thing's going to survive some hits, which is really nice. Gives the deck some defense. The deck doesn't really have a lot of defense, and gives it the staying power that you can continue to tribute summon your Red Eyes straight to the field on future turns. So I think Keeper of the Shrine is solid, and that's why it's the last card on this list. Now the honorable mentions, the first card I wanted to cover real quick is Inferno Fire Blast. I originally thought I was going to put this on the list, but I can understand why it's not in Speed Duels yet, and that is simply, it inflicts 2400 to your opponent, the original attack of a Red Eyes Black Dragon. And if you open 2 of these, that's just game because of Speed Duels only having 4,000 life points. So I understand why Inferno Fire Blast isn't in the game, and I don't want, like I said, I don't want any more burn cards. I don't want to support any more burn cards to this game right now. And unfortunately, this is a burn card for Red Eyes, even though it's very specific and Red Eyes can't attack the turn you use it. I don't care. Like, you could burn your opponent with this, Red Eyes can't attack, great. You could swing with an 1800 and then that's just game, or a 1600 and that's just game. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want that much firepower in one spell card. But the actual honorable mention, without Fire Blast being the card, is Red Eye's Alternative Black Dragon. And I think this card is perfectly fine and balanced except for its last line of text. It's a level 7 Dark Dragon effect, 24 attack, 2000 defense monster. Now, you have to remember, before everyone goes berserk, Blue Eye's Alternative White Dragon is a lot stronger than Red Eye's Alternative Black Dragon. Like Blue Eyes, you just have to reveal the Blue Eyes to drop the thing. This one, you have to tribute it. So I'm going to read its effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing one Red Eyes monster from your hand or field. Why? Why does it say that? I don't understand. If you're going to copy or at least make it close to Blue Eyes Alternative, why isn't it not just reveal? You have to tribute it. Second of all, you can only special summon one Red Eyes Alternative once per turn this way. Whatever, great. If this card is destroyed by battle, or this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target a level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your grave except Alternative Black Dragon, special summon it, and if it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon, that special summoned monster's original attack is doubled. And that is where I draw the line with this card. I think this card was fine, except for the fact that it doubles its attack. Again, we're talking 4,000 Yu-Gi-Oh! This might be fair, but this might not be fair. I think it's more fair than Inferno Fire Blast, but it's in the sense of, once again, you put out a Red Eyes, its attack is doubled. So its attack becomes 4,800 forever. And that's big. Now, we are getting God cards. It'd be a good out to God cards, and, you know, it's a good out to Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. Swinging over a Moth with a much bigger monster is pretty scary to say. But 4,000 Yu-Gi-Oh! 4,800 attack, I don't know about that. And it's not that hard to drop this thing. Obviously, you tribute a Red Eyes from your hand or field to summon it. And if it's destroyed by battle, or just in its owner's possession, destroyed by a card effect, which is most situations, you can bring back a Red Eyes from your grave. So basically, you can summon this, crash it into something, have it die, bring back a Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then double its attack. It's a cool out, I guess, to something like, to a big monster, especially something like Moth, but 4,800 attack? I don't know. This seems real sketch. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm thinking too hard into it, because it's not burning you. It's doubling its attack points, but then you still can out the Red Eyes, but still, guys, like, even, like, you know, your opponent's got a Jinzo on the board, and you crash this into the Jinzo, and then you just bring out the Red Eyes, and the Red Eyes swings for 48 for game. I don't know, does that not seem OP? I don't know. Guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is Alternative Black Dragon too strong, or is it just fine? And hey, is Inferno Fire Blast worth it? Please don't tell me it's worth it, because we don't need more burn. Keeper of the Shrine, is that too strong? Or is that just fine? Is that just balanced? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Comment, like, and subscribe. As always, click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates. And I'll see you guys in the next Top 10.